Nini everyone, Zabora here. I'm going to be doing a book review of Celebrating the Egyptian Gods by Sharon Laborde here. So I got this book last night, and there's actually quite a bit more to it than I thought during when I was doing the initial flip through. While she does talk about their gods and their interpretations of the past, she also focuses on modern interpretations. So Sekhmet, for example, being the wonderful war goddess that she is, and also a goddess of healing, would be perfect patroness for army surgeons, field medics, things of that nature, as well as general law enforcement or military, EMTs, paramedics. Those are all healing fields as well as war fields. So she's a very complex deity, and she does even talk about her own interpretations and her husband's experiences with them, or with her. And that's something she mentions even in like the introduction and the like working with deities section. It's all very well and good to go with somebody else's interpretation, but true connection, true working with gods comes through your connection with them. And that's something I've always said. That's something I've always tried to advocate. Like UPGs are all well and good. Whether or not they're based off of facts is irrelevant. So long as you feel it's important, that's what's important. So, yeah, she also talks about different meditation techniques that you can do if you want to connect to different deities, how to request a dream oracle, how to request contact through dreams, meditation, I think I said. What to do before and after, that kind of thing. And then she's also got offerings to the different deities in here, and whatnot. Now, one of the ones that I learned, here's something that I didn't know. Let me turn to his page. Sutesh, whatever you want to call him, he's actually barren. Now, I think that's something that a lot of us know. He may have raised Yinapu, Anapu, whatever, but he is not his biological father. So he's barren. He cannot have children. Osir, his brother, is his father, Inapu's father. So yeah, one of the names that Seth has is the closer of the womb. So Seth, Tut says that Seth could act as a helper to people who don't want to have children, as a contraceptive sort of patron. Which I find quite, like, oh my god, that's crazy. I never would have thought about that, but that's totally appropriate. You could totally pray to him as like, damn it, Set, like, no pregnancy for me, right? But something else that she doesn't mention is something that I did, and that's that he is an adoptive father, or even like he's not a stepfather, because he was married to his wife when his wife got pregnant with Anapu. He's his adoptive father. He raised him as his father. I guess today you could call that a stepfather, but it's they didn't really have that concept of a stepfather back then. If you were the one that raised him, you were the child's father, in my opinion. So you could pray to Seth as someone who has a child that's been adopted. If you are an adoptive father, you could pray to him for guidance in raising a good child or something. Okay, so that's just something to keep in mind. There's different interpretations on how you see the gods, and again, that's something that she quite thoroughly goes over and tries to drum in your head that it's your interpretations. And sometimes you find that your interpretations and your instincts match up with ancient times, and sometimes you don't, but that doesn't matter. What matters is your connection with them. Now, she also has the calendars that we use, the Kemetic Reform calendar, as well as the Kemetic Orthodox calendar that they use, and even what would be more of a traditional or reconstructed dates for the different feasts and stuff that are here. And that's quite a few pages of that. There's also a bunch of different hymns in the back, list to online resources, and it's really just an overall good book in my opinion. I think that this would be a really good introductory book for someone who is looking to work with deities. She, like I said, included a modern offering ritual, and this book here actually explains a lot of the whys and hows, or excuse me, explains a lot of the whys to the hows of this book. It's more like, look, the reason I chose water for this book as an offering is because water is a form, a representation of the Nile flooding that gives life, and the waters would have been cool and cold coming from the mountains of Ethiopia. Okay, so they would have been played in the Nile water would have been played on the hot days. They would have cooled the body, so they also would have been appropriate to cool the spirits of the Egyptians and to offer life to them by giving them water. So those are all explained and stuff in this book too. I'm still like kind of reeling for being mentioned in print, you know, not just having an autograph or anything by Tut, but to be mentioned like in the acknowledgments. See? Right there. Zabora. It's fucking like hardcore. Right in the feels, Tut. Right in the feels. So anyway, that's my book review. I definitely think that Celebrating the Egyptian Gods is something any kind of Kemetic should have. If you really want to look at a modern interpretation of the deities. So, yeah. That's it for tonight, guys. Sanapti.